There's a brutal truth you must face. Disrespect is never an accident. It's a calculated test. And if you fail at once, you teach the world exactly how to treat you. Most people respond with emotion, they lash out, they explain, they beg for dignity. But in the world of power, emotion is a weakness, and explanation is submission. Disrespect isn't handled, it's punished, strategically, quietly, permanently. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew that silence can humiliate louder than words, and that psychological retaliation leaves a scar no apology can erase. You don't win by reacting. You win by controlling the frame, elevating your presence, and crushing them without lifting a finger. The goal is not revenge, it's domination. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how to do it, without yelling, without chasing, without looking back. Subscribe if you're ready to become untouchable, because what comes next is not advice, it is a stepping stone to dominance. Disrespect is not just an insult, it's a declaration of power. It's the moment someone decides that you are beneath correction, beneath consideration, beneath consequence. It can come quietly, through sarcasm, delayed replies, subtle slights, or it can come loudly, through public humiliation, direct insults, or outright betrayal. But in all forms, it's the same psychological message. I don't fear you, I don't respect you, and I don't think you'll do a damn thing about it. Understand this. Disrespect is a power probe. It's a test designed to measure your response. Because in every social dynamic, people are watching, waiting to see if you have the backbone to defend your value. And once you tolerate disrespect, the damage is immediate and irreversible. Your presence becomes negotiable. Your voice becomes background noise. Your authority evaporates. Why? Because humans, by nature, are hierarchical creatures. We don't just observe behavior, we mirror it. When someone treats you as expendable and you accept it, others will too. That's why disrespect is never just about words. It's psychological warfare, an attempt to dethrone your power without confrontation. It's strategy disguised as attitude, and if you don't recognize it early, it will rot your influence from the inside out. Here's the hard truth. No one ever accidentally disrespects you twice. If it happens again, it's because they learned from your silence. So the question isn't whether it happened. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Because Machiavelli didn't believe in forgiveness, he believed in calculated elimination. And now that you understand what disrespect really is, it's time to see the cost of letting it slide. If you're still watching, you must understand tolerating disrespect comes with a deadly cost. The cost of tolerating it. Every time you tolerate disrespect, you teach people how to treat you. You think you're being mature by ignoring it. You think you're being stoic by staying silent. But in reality, you're signaling weakness. You're telling the world you have no teeth. And in the hierarchy of power, the man who doesn't bite gets eaten. Disrespect is a predator's test bite. They want to see how much they can get away with. And if you let it pass, you don't look strong, you look scared. And once fear enters the room, dominance exits quietly behind it. Here's the brutal Machiavellian truth. People don't stop disrespecting you because you're nice. They stop because there are consequences. Clear, inevitable, unmistakable. Tolerating disrespect has a cost that compounds over time. It corrodes your authority. When people see you accept poor treatment, your voice loses weight. You become forgettable, replaceable. It invites escalation. Today, it's a passive-aggressive comment. Tomorrow, it's open defiance. The behavior always grows bolder when unchecked. It rewires your identity. The more you let it slide, the more you start to believe you deserve it. Your self-respect decays, and with it, your presence. It destroys attraction. No woman respects the man who can't stand up for himself. Emotional weakness kills desire faster than physical flaws ever could. You need to understand, power is not taken from you. It is relinquished through passivity. And the moment you start making excuses for someone else's disrespect, oh, maybe they didn't mean it, They're just having a bad day. I don't want to overreact. You've already lost. Because Machiavelli didn't believe in giving the benefit of the doubt. He believed in reminding the world that you're not the one to play with. So if someone crosses the line and you say nothing, don't be surprised when they start dancing on it. The solution? Not emotional outbursts, not desperate arguments, but calculated, strategic retaliation. In the next section, we begin your transformation, not into a victim who tolerates, but into a strategist who dominates. Hit the subscribe button as we reveal the 5 Machiavellian principles for crushing disrespect. Machiavellian Principle 1. Use silence to degrade them. Disrespect feeds on attention. It lives off your reaction. It wants your anger, your explanation, your emotional investment. But when you respond with silence, pure, deliberate silence, you don't just deny them satisfaction, you degrade them. Understand this. Silence is not passive. In the Machiavellian mind, silence is a scalpel. It cuts deeper than words ever could. Because when someone disrespects you, they expect drama. They want chaos. They want the argument because arguments equal validation. It proves they got under your skin. It proves they mattered. But when you say nothing, when you look at them like they're not even worth your breath, you reduce them to insignificance. Silence is dominance because it forces them into uncertainty. Did he hear me? Did he not care? Is he planning something? That mental spiral is your advantage. While they obsess over your silence, you remain composed, unreadable, and in control. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He wrote that the powerful never respond to attacks from below, because doing so elevates the attacker. You don't pull someone down from the mud, you let them drown in it alone. Here's what happens when you use silence strategically. You reverse the power dynamic. Now they're chasing your reaction. They want your words, and you give them nothing. You raise your perceived status. High-value men do not explain themselves. They don't justify. They move in silence, and others adjust. You make them feel invisible, and there is no greater psychological punishment than being ignored by someone you wanted to provoke. But let's be clear, this silence isn't weakness. It's a loaded gun on the table. Everyone sees it. No one's sure when it'll go off. You're not avoiding conflict. You're choosing a higher battleground, one where your mere presence exerts pressure. So the next time someone disrespects you, don't bark, don't explain, don't defend. Just give them nothing and watch their confidence decay in real time. You've just removed their fuel. Now they're burning themselves out. Machiavellian Principle 2. Strike through reputation, not emotion. When a man disrespects you, your instinct may scream, strike back, right now. Say something, hit something, do something. That's emotional retaliation. And that's exactly what they want. Because the moment you react emotionally, you expose yourself. You show your hand. You give them the upper ground by proving they got to you. But the Machiavellian man doesn't react emotionally. He retaliates strategically. And the most devastating attack you can ever make is on someone's reputation. Understand this. A person's reputation is their social armor. It protects them. It defines how others see and treat them. You don't need to shout. You don't need to fight. You just need to plant a seed, doubt. You degrade their name, not with rage, but with precision. A look, a question, a cold whisper in the right ear. Be careful with him. Not everything's as it seems. You let their image bleed slowly in the eyes of others. And the beauty of this method? They won't even know where it came from. This is what Machiavelli meant when he said, "A prince must learn to act like both a fox and a lion." The lion uses brute strength, but the fox uses cunning, deception, and social warfare. Your enemy expects the lion. Give them the fox. Here's how. Redirect the narrative. Frame their disrespect as insecurity. Example, I think he lashes out when he feels small. Now they look weak, and you look like the composed one. Speak in shadows. Never directly slander. Just raise questions that others start answering for you. Control who hears the truth. You don't need everyone on your side, just the right people. One well-placed truth in a power circle can do more damage than 1,000 insults. This is not about vengeance, it's about social dominance. Because in the real world, destroying someone's reputation is often more lethal than any physical attack. They lose influence, they lose trust, they lose standing, and once that's gone, they become powerless. So when disrespected, don't strike out like a child. Strike back like a strategist. Let their name decay while yours remains untouchable. Machiavellian Principle 3. Make an example of them. Disrespect isn't just an insult. It's a test, a probe to see how far someone can go and what they can get away with. And if you let it slide once, you've set a precedent. That's why the Machiavellian doesn't just retaliate, he makes a public example. He turns one act of disrespect into a lesson for every pair of watching eyes. Understand this deeply. Punishment must be theatrical, memorable, undeniable. Machiavelli wrote, "Injuries must be inflicted all at once, so that their severity is felt and remembered." The point is not just to destroy the offender, it's to send a message so no one else even considers crossing you. Here's how it's done. Choose the battlefield wisely. Don't confront in private. Do it where the right people can see, power players, social validators, your enemies and allies alike. Don't over-explain. Let your actions speak. Cut them off, call them out, expose the lie, then walk away without emotion. When you strike and remain calm, the power imbalance is undeniable. Control the optics. Make sure the narrative frames them as the violator and you as the one who simply enforced order. It's not revenge, it's justice. Leave a scar. Not literal, but social. They should feel the consequences ripple. Lost respect, exclusion, quiet whispers about what happened. This is how deterrence is born. Let's take a real-world example. In a business setting, someone publicly mocks your idea in a meeting. You respond with calm, deadly precision. You destroy their argument with facts, ask pointed questions they can't answer, then finish with, "Let's bring real solutions next time." And silence. What happens next? You don't just win that battle. You position yourself as the one not to be trifled with. This is the strategic heart of this principle. You don't destroy them because you're hurt. You destroy them so others remember. Weak men retaliate for their ego. Strong men retaliate for their reputation. Let them feel the weight of disrespect. Let them serve as the example others study and fear. Because in a world where everyone's watching, your response becomes your legend. Machiavellian Principle 4. Master the art of psychological retaliation. Physical retaliation is primitive. Verbal retaliation is emotional. But psychological retaliation? That's elite warfare. When someone disrespects you, they expect a reaction. Anger, retaliation, a fight. But the Machiavellian man doesn't lash out. He makes them unravel from the inside out. Here's the truth. The deepest revenge isn't what you do to them. It's what you make them do to themselves. Here's how to weaponize this principle. Withdraw your attention completely. You don't argue, you don't defend, you don't correct, you erase them, and suddenly they're not in control. They're in limbo. And in that silence, they start to lose their mind. Create ambiguity. Don't tell them what they did wrong. Let them guess, let them spiral. Every overthinker knows uncertainty is torture. Mirror their disrespect, but colder. If they ignored you, do it twice as hard. If they insulted you subtly, reply with eerie calm, noted. Show them their little game didn't even scratch the surface. Control the social undercurrent. Subtly shift perception. Don't slander, just reveal the truth in small doses. One comment, one revealing detail, then silence. Let the room come to its own conclusions. This is not passive aggression. It's psychological dominance. You create a space where they no longer feel certain around you, where they can't predict your next move, where they start asking themselves, did I go too far? What's he planning? Why does he seem more powerful now? This kind of revenge doesn't burn bridges. It buries them underneath your silence. Let's make it clear. A weak man retaliates with noise. A Machiavellian man retaliates with silence, ambiguity, and calm control. This forces the enemy to fight an internal war, one they can never win. Because when you hold back your fire, they burn themselves alive trying to figure out what's coming. You become the storm they feel, but can't track. Frame it like this: I won't destroy you with emotion, I'll destroy you with confusion. That's the difference between a man who reacts and a man who rules. Machiavellian Principle 5. Burn the bridge with elegance and finality. Most men make the mistake of trying to fix disrespect. They talk it out, they seek closure, they wait for an apology. But Machiavelli would tell you, when someone disrespects you, they have already declared war. The bond is broken, the loyalty is dead, the respect is gone, and there's only one thing left to do: burn the bridge elegantly. Not with rage, not with drama, but with finality so cold and controlled, it haunts them. Here's how to execute it like a master strategist. 1. Never announce it. You don't warn them. You don't explain. You simply vanish from their life with surgical precision. No goodbye, no message, just silence that echoes louder than any words. 2. Let your absence say everything. You don't chase, you don't block, you don't watch. You erase them from your psychological universe. And in doing so, you show them the highest form of punishment. You no longer exist in my world. 3. Replace them with something better. Not to make them jealous, but to demonstrate that you don't need them at all. This isn't pettiness, it's dominance. Their disrespect becomes irrelevant in the face of your elevation. 4. Leave no emotional fingerprints. No bitter remarks, no passive-aggressive comments. No, I hope you're happy. That's emotional leakage, and it gives them power. You stay cold, clean, untouchable. Because real power doesn't explain itself, it simply moves on. This principle isn't about revenge, it's about reclaiming sovereignty. Because when you keep people around who violate your respect, you're feeding the enemy. You're allowing corrosion to spread through your kingdom. But when you burn the bridge cleanly, completely, you send a message that echoes far beyond the person you cut off. This is the price of disrespect. People begin to realize you don't beg, you don't argue, you disappear and take your value with you. And those who remain will think twice before crossing that line. In the Machiavellian world, burning a bridge is not destruction. It's strategy, it's protection, it's purification. Because if someone dares to spit on your throne, you don't throw a tantrum. You burn the path they came from, and you never look back. There's a lie the world wants you to believe, that when someone disrespects you, rejects you, or walks away, it means you weren't good enough, that your value somehow shrank. But the truth, the Machiavellian truth, is this: your value is not dependent on their recognition of it. It was always there. They were simply too blind, too arrogant, or too foolish to see it. Understand this. Disrespect does not devalue you. It reveals them. It exposes their lack of discernment. It uncovers their emotional immaturity. And most importantly, it tells you exactly who they are before you ever needed to learn the hard way. So when someone disrespects you, don't beg. Don't argue. Don't question your worth. You don't lose value. They just lost access. Let this become your dominant frame. When a woman withdraws respect, you withdraw access. When a friend crosses the line, you close the gates. When a man tries to compete by belittling you, you elevate above him in silence. You don't react emotionally, because kings don't chase deserters. You don't justify your absence, because thrones don't explain their distance. You become scarce, untouchable, and deeply remembered. There is power in subtraction. Machiavelli knew a man's value increases in the shadow of his absence. Not because people miss you emotionally, but because they start to realize what your presence was doing for them. Your time, your attention, your approval, your strength. They took it for granted, and now that it's gone, they feel the void, and most won't even understand why they feel less powerful without you. That's psychological dominance. So here's your final weapon. Whenever you're disrespected, say nothing. Just remove yourself completely. And repeat this phrase like a war chant burned into your mind. You didn't win. You lost me. And that loss will echo longer than anything you could ever say. Because a man who knows his worth doesn't argue. He walks away with silence as his sword and dignity as his shield. You don't lose value. They just lost access. This was never about revenge. It was about restoring your throne. You don't destroy people with noise. You destroy them with absence, power, and precision. So if you're done tolerating disrespect, if you're ready to stop being the one who explains, defends, and forgives, and become the one they fear losing again, subscribe. Not for comfort, not for healing, but for strategy, control, and total self-mastery. This is psychological warfare, and only the disciplined survive it. Be the silence that haunts their mind. Be the presence they can't replace. Be the storm they never see coming. You were never weak. You were just too generous with your power. Now you take it back.